Good morning, everyone. I'm just letting you know this show is pre-recorded because Joseph Lee will be out of town, and so he graciously agreed to record the show because he liked doing it live. But he'll be back the week after that with his live show. So this is Joseph Lee with Impact Counseling and Consulting Service, and we're in the Impact Hour. So,
Outstanding.
so Joseph, before we go on to that, I seen something today about schools that really troubled me a little bit.
Oh,
It was a commercial that showed this girl trying to do her work, and the boy behind her kept on kicking her desk, and every time he kicked, she would mess up. He did it 3 times, and the commercial said, bullies are everywhere, something like that. Here you go, right here, online school, K-12. They called it K-12. So now you could be in school online. You don't have to leave the house.
yeah, K-12. I'm familiar with K-12. I actually know some folks that are affiliated or work for K-12.
Yeah.
And and it's I think it's a really good option. But even believe it or not, even at home, kids can be bullied, right? Because we have the unfortunately social media. But they bring a good point. K-12 is an option. It's actually an option that I looked at, to be honest with you, for my daughter, and still look at, depending on my travels and whatever that we end up doing with the DoD. So, online schooling is an option. I was just at the Schertz police station. I had to do some background stuff for the DoD. We have to regularly be checked and all that good stuff. So we were talking about schools and safety and all that, and I was talking to some of the folks in the police department and whatnot. We were talking about kind of like some of the things we've talked about on the show, how the M15, right, not too far from me, had a silencer on it, and the situation with Uvalde, and how we're going to have to make some changes. And and like you said, we've got a severe teacher shortage. So this online thing is going to be a real option for a lot of people, because we've got some serious deficiencies and some serious concerns going into this school year, not just including the schools, but especially including the schools, now that people are calling for a soft civil war.
Yeah.
And then we know, based on what just happened yesterday, there are some seriously mentally ill people out here. Now, before they were just attacking soft targets, right? So whatever convinced someone to attack a FBI compound, I'm sure that happened was that yesterday. I'm pretty sure it's going to have something to do with the rhetoric and the calls for dismantling or smashing to pieces the FBI. Look, we've got some serious issues going on here, and I'm sure we're going to get into that. But K-12 is an option. A lot of schools, if we're just 1 or 2 situations away from probably a lot of people, if they could, pulling their kids out of school, if they can. But unfortunately, a lot of people can't, right?
Right, because they have to work in there.
They have to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, if you're a single parent that has to work, you've got to be feeling some type of way. I've talked to parents, single parents or families that both people are working outside of the home, and they don't have a choice, right? So I really believe we're at a crossroads in this country, because I can't think of a more important resource than protecting our children. And right now, we kind of are at, we're kind of deficient in a lot of ways. When I've talked to the board members of the caucus that I spoke with, and they agreed that we're going to have some changes. And the police department was on that call. One of the, I think it was the Hondo police chief, was on that call, and I'm going to communicate with him and talk some more. They really have some good things going over there. But the bottom line is, and he's an old Army guy, was with the 101st. And he was like, we've got to really get people trained. Our presentations were succinct. It was almost like we prepared them together.
Yeah.
Because what he was saying was what I was saying, is that we have to, get more trained law enforcement to know how to react, almost like SWAT, and get some counterterrorism training, and be available or possibly on site at a lot of schools for us to be comfortable. I mean, obviously, the teachers have enough on their plate. They can't be trained to, teach 1 second, then jump and to be a counterterrorism squad,
Right.
and I don't know if I want teachers doing that. They
Yeah.
should, hey, we've got people trained. I don't know if we're going to have to work with the National Guard and give them some additional duties to protect our schools. And then we talked about a spiritual element. I mean, we need to get out there. We need to be praying at these schools. It became obvious that one of the things that we talked about the last time, prayer, in schools. What are the schools that aren't being attacked the most, which are the religious-based schools? And everybody kind of just stopped and like, wow, you got a good point. It doesn't mean that all religious institutions are not attacked, but if we're going to look at it, there's got to be something to it, considering that there is not a lot of schools being attacked. And thank God, hopefully, thank God there's one group of schools that haven't been attacked thus far. So let's look at what they're doing and maybe partner with some churches, schools, and praying, and adding that spiritual and also social skills, teaching emotional intelligence to our kids, and getting in there and showing, connecting with more mental health services like impact counseling or whomever, that you want to kind of make sure these kids are getting the emotional intelligence education and social skills.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at.
Yeah, another school, when you brought up the religious schools, also the charter schools, they're doing something too that they're not going to. And I found out they got guards there already at the charter schools.
Yeah, a lot of these schools have guards, right? But usually guards have handguns. And then above that, typically you have to get to the actual law enforcement to get to rifles and things of that nature. What I'm saying is we're going to have accessible to these guards, weapons that can deter, these domestic terrorists, and a lot of superintendents, a lot of folks don't like the concept of hardening or using the term hardening the schools. But the fact of the matter is, that's going to have to happen.
Yes, it is.
We're going to have that because we know that most folks look for the most domestic terrorists anyway, look for soft targets, and schools and churches and stores, and these are the things that are attacked. And because look what happened, it's evident. Look what happened when that guy attacked the FBI building. He's no longer with us.
No, he isn't.
So that's
they hunted him down. Yeah.
But that's what needs to happen. Anytime you attack a school, anytime you attack a store, anytime any domestic terrorist out there, that's the fate that they're going to have to meet for this to be a deterrent, right?
Yeah.
And I know that might sound, discerning coming from a therapist, but look, I'm the first one to tell you that there's some people that can't be helped.
Yeah.
There's, just like mental health is not, magical, like physical, health, physical health. Some people are terminal, right? And you can do what you can, but unfortunately, there's some people that just don't want to help, and they want to hurt people. They want to do damage. They maybe are following some mythical script that's being pushed out there, like a soft, civil war, which is the most ridiculous thing ever. How can you have a soft civil war? And maybe that's call word for call sign for, hey, maybe I need to make this into a real civil war. That's how maybe some of these people are actually thinking, right? So to make them go and do something like that. So we've got a lot of damaging and dangerous scripts out there. What we're probably going to talk about next, I think, is really just adding more fuel to the fire in terms of this delusional thought process, feeding the fear, and our theme, right? Most of the problems are rooted in fear, greed, and phobia, right? So we're stoking the fires of fear, phobias, and it's really just a dangerous time and climate that we're in, and we have to be real about it. About what's going on.
Yeah, you're talking about soft civil war. I'm looking at it. I said, so who are they fighting against? They're going against the same people they swore they will protect. So basically, they're going against the law officials, FBI, CIA. You don't see any race in there anywhere. It's just they are against the government, and that's who they're going to. And if they do that, they might as well get it because they're going to lose.
Well, I'm looking at headlines right now on my other screen. And we've got FBI investigating unprecedented number of threats against the Bureau in wake of the Mar-a-Lago search. Look, there's one good thing about all of this, right? If you're stupid enough to threaten the FBI, you pick the right organization to threaten, because they have the right, because of the Freedom of Information Act, to track your butt down. So go ahead, pop up. You know, if you're stupid enough to threaten these federal agencies that are already on a heightened alert, hey, round them up, man. You know, I'm just, go get them. You know what I'm saying? Eventually we're going, the message is going to get out that it's time out for this foolishness. And I think a lot of people are going to have their feelings hurt or who they supported, because now it's coming out what some of us have been saying all along, that the president was compromised. The president's motives were questionable. The president is not doing this, that, or the other correctly. Look, now the evidence is coming out, and they're still trying to snow job people, right? I just watched that movie Elvis, and there was a guy that talked that was responsible for putting Elvis out there, and he kept talking about the snow job, right?
Yeah.
So many people have been hustled, and they don't want to admit they've been hustled, right? And I don't want to, if anybody can watch that movie, I don't want to spoil it, but you can have all the money in the world, you can be so-called intelligent, and because you want to believe something, you can be hustled, right?
Yeah.
So a large amount of people have been hustled in this country, and it's time that we're going to have to wake up, smell the coffee, and some folks are going to have to deal with the DOJ. All of a sudden say that the DOJ has been weaponized. Last time I checked, the DOJ always had weapons. That's why they were called the Justice Department. Now, weaponized against who? Well, they're weaponized against criminals. And if criminals are the president of the United States, then guess what? They should go against the president of the United States. And good job for going against 45. Maybe a little slower than you should have, but who am I to say, what the Department of Justice does, right? But I'm glad. I think we're moving the right direction. And the only way I know to deal with delusional folks is to continue to infuse reality until they can't help but understand that their delusional thought process was off. Like you saw during the January 6th committee, a lot of those folks that are being charged with crimes are now saying, yeah, we were duped. I was fooled.
Yeah.
I was thinking I was delusional, right? Well, hey, let's speed it up. It's a lot of people that were delusional. My question is, what good reason could a previous president have nuclear information in their home that were top secret classified? In the military, you can't even move those documents outside of certain areas. What level of delusional thinking do you have to take top secret documents to your house and think that you're not going to be charged with something? Bottom line is this. If you think that the Department of Justice did not have a right to go in there and confiscate those, 12
boxes.
12 sets, not documents, sets of documents from Mar-a-Lago, you're the problem. You're the problem today. Stop listening to Fox. Stop listening to all this foolishness. Start listening to some reality-based, or as best as possible, reality-based news. And I get it. There's a lot of rhetoric on a lot of these, news channels. But there are channels out there like Smart News, or apps like Smart News, listening to international news, MSNBC, other, ABC News. If you don't like CNN, if you think they're far to the left, then look at some other news that fixates just on the facts. I think if people are going to look at the news, you almost have to be educated on what to listen to make sure you're not listening to your own political tribe, right? Yeah. I try my best to listen to all the news out there. My wife tells me all the time, you listen to too much news, well, no. I mean, if I'm going to educate people, I have to be educated myself.
Exactly.
And I challenge my own thought process frequently to make sure that I'm not putting delusional stuff out there, right? But I think that I love what the Attorney General said, Garland said. He said, look, he's not going to be deterred. He's going to do his job.
Yes.
And he doesn't care who thinks what or who thinks whatever. Listen, there's a lot of people that think that if there's a civil war, that there's going to be a winner or one side's going to win. You know, these folks that think that are supporters of Trump, right? I think if I was following somebody and all of this stuff was coming up, it would take, I would have to be taken aback, right?
Yeah.
And process, okay, I might not want to admit it, but I would have to go, you know what? I might have been wrong. There have been other people out there that other situations. I was watching something that hurt my heart, right? Even last night. I was a huge fan of Michael Jackson, and I still am a huge fan of Michael Jackson. I don't know if these things are true, that they came out with that, documentary on the sun. But look, they make a compelling case. And on top of that, I don't really know any grown man that wants other people's kids sleeping in their bed. I don't know about anything else, but I have to say, okay, I love Michael Jackson. I didn't think that, this was true. I think people are after money, but you know what? I gotta raise my, if I were to say for sure I put my money that he didn't do those things, I said, I can't, right? Because there's been too many irrational things that he did. And yes, he may have had no childhood. Yes, superstardom causes this, but I have to look at the actions. I have to look at the thought process. I have to look at what he's accused of. And no matter how much I have love for that person and that public persona, I have to look at the facts. And if two people are willing to come out there and lay out and give dates, times, situations, evidence, then I'd be a fool not to at least consider that evidence. And if you want to be a fool, guess what? Go ahead. But if you are a fool that acts on your foolishness, then that's where the DOJ has to step in, and we have to get people out of this delusional thought process. I look forward to working with law enforcement. I look forward to getting with other organizations that want to bridge the gap between mental health and law enforcement, because we have got to clean house of the delusional folks that have weapons that can hurt our kids. I don't care about nothing else above protecting our children.
Yeah,
that's what impact counseling is really about. We put the kids first.
Yeah.
And anybody that stands in the way of that, there's either a cell or a grave we got to put you in.
Yeah. You brought up something, a good point about the media. Now, with the television that I have, and let me get that mouse off that screen. It had my face right on it. I watch a lot of foreign news because I want to see what they're saying about the United States.
Very good to do.
And they sit up and said, oh my God, how can they let this happen? It's right there in front of you. Can't you see what's going on? So I watch the BBC. There's a newscast in Australia, and I go and I watch all of them. I go back to ours and watch it. The people that's out of the country that's watching what we're doing over here think we lost our mind.
Well, we have. We have as a whole, as a country, because see, you ever heard the saying, the least of us, we are only strong as the least of us?
Yes.
Okay. It's true, because we're being perceived by a lot. It's not like only 100 or 1,000 or a couple, even 100,000 are really still supporting this situation, this person and this administration. It's millions of people. And then on top of that, they're putting little mini me's of Trump in power in other areas, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a problem. Like I said, and I got a little emotional last time, because this is something that's very serious to me, because unfortunately I've seen and had to work with folks that have seen the onslaught or the outcome of this delusional thinking, right?
Yeah.
And active shooting situations and the families and all that. I said something about, the kids who are special ed and this, that, and the other. Hey, you shouldn't be out there on the news talking about your views. If you've already been slow in school, okay, yeah, I might have pushed it a little too far, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody has a right. We have freedom of speech, right? Everybody has freedom of speech. But once you put your speech out there and it is, for the most part, challenged by people that have a grasp of reality and good judgment, then you should go, you know what, hey, that is kind of wacky. Hey, maybe I'm not, thinking correctly. And maybe I need to, fall back and let people that do the research, do the work, and know what's really going to have the vision for where our country should go. Maybe they should step up and I should fall back. By all means, vent. By all means, say what you're going to say. But at the end of the day, when you weaponize the irrational folks, and then they actually act without punishment, January 6th, then we got a problem. But now, see, here's the thing. Those folks that are being charged, they're coming back to reality. They're like, wait a minute. This is an actual court that has looked at actual evidence and has gave an actual punishment. That's actually reality. You know what I'm saying? But you've got too many people that, because of their entitlement, because of their viewpoint, because of their phobias, delusional mindset, that want their way and are willing to twist these laws, twist the situation, and then actually go after the vehicle that's trying to bring this country back to reality and put our international reputation back where it needs to be, in terms of being a beacon of light instead of a sideshow. We have been a sideshow for too long. So, with these 11 sets of classified documents, listen, whatever the fullest extent of the law is for that, it needs to go forward.
Exactly.
Right? And one of the reasons, and that's why I can't believe that the administration, I don't know what the strategy is by putting the warrant information out, the 3 possible crimes, including violations of the Espionage Act. I don't know why he would put that out there, other than that maybe he's trying to incite anger or fear even more.
I'll tell you exactly what the clown did. I'll tell you exactly what he did.
He
turned around and wrote something about, well, Obama took the documents home. He took the same thing I took. He did all this. But guess what? Somebody jumped up from Washington. I guess they got somebody that makes sure they take care of all the presidential paperwork. Said, no. We got everything that Obama, everything is put up in the safe. And the stuff that's in Chicago, that's there that he could use for his library comes out, that's put up in the safe. Okay. So no, they try to change the narrative and say, well, Obama did, but that didn't work.
Well, it's an old trick, right?
Yeah.
You accuse other people for the things that you do. We've seen this play out many, many, many times, right? Whatever Hunter Biden did, okay, if he did something wrong, yeah, he should be charged. I'm an equal opportunity applier of justice, right? Yeah. If somebody did something wrong, get them, go for it, right? But you would be ridiculous to think that there aren't levels of judicial consequence for levels of judicial actions. That's why there's murder in the first degree, murder in the second degree, murder in the third. You have to look at the intent now,
right?
And then you also have to understand something else, right? Trump has always had this interesting fascination with Barack Obama, right? He's had this interesting fascination. But let's look at the facts, all right? Barack Obama was a Harvard graduate. His wife was a Harvard graduate, law. Do you really think that being a Harvard graduate, a law graduate, he would be stupid enough to take classified documents from the White House? Again, if you think that's the case, investigate them. But
He had
oh,
4 years. He had four
wait a
years to
minute.
do that.
You can't investigate somebody unless it goes before a judge, like it did with Trump, and they have reasonable information. I'm going to tell you something else. It's interesting that Trump wasn't at Mar-a-Lago when they investigated Mar-a-Lago and found the documents. Perhaps there was somebody on the inside that knew what was going on.
6 people out of 6. They said 6 out of 6 knew what was going on. And I sat there and told my wife a long time ago, his own people are going to take him down.
Listen, you want to be a dictator, you want to be an aristocrat, authoritarian type person, you better check the history of what happens to authoritarian people and dictators. Their retirement plan isn't too good.
No, it isn't.
No,
it's not great at all.
And like I said, I always joke, and I probably shouldn't joke about this, but you better not show up for the photo op. Look up the Bolsheviks and see how that worked out for that family, right? Yeah. Over in Russia, right?
Yeah.
Who can't help him right now? His buddy, his bromance. Hey, he's losing a war over there, and his own people have tried to kill him already. So I don't know, but see, I will say this. I really do believe that what we're going to see is the delusional process that Trump has in his mind when all this stuff goes forward.
Well, see, he's fighting 3 battles. He's got New York. They haven't said that they're going to start picking a jury for that. Then he has Georgia, where it claims he hired a $1 billion law firm to take his case on in Georgia. He pretty well said he did it when he said, I want you to find 11,000 something votes. So he's fighting 3 battles now. And you know what? He doesn't have that much money to do that. So what he's doing, he's having everybody donate to him to pay for everything. And these fools are doing it. Give them no money.
Hey, it's one born every minute. But fear and phobia make you do that. See, and when it finally comes down, and it's just sad because I see the narrative forming right now. See, the thing that Trump did is really blows my mind, as he's hidden in plain sight the whole time. So the only reason I could think that he would possibly allow for this warrant information to go out right now is he doesn't want anybody to be surprised about what he gets charged with. Because you know what? I'm going to be charged. I don't want to. I'd be shocked if Garland doesn't go ahead, the Attorney General that he appointed, by the way, doesn't charge him. Look, this isn't. I think he forgot who he was. He's really not a mob boss, even though he tried to be one. He's not really a dictator. He's in the wrong country to be who he thinks he is. That might have worked in Nicaragua. It might have worked over in Russia. But in the United States, somebody is not going to let you throw away their career. And, exactly. I was surprised at the amount of lemmings or minions that threw their career away under this guy. Maybe they got starstruck or what. I don't know. But not everybody is jumping to this song anymore and drinking the tea or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Hey, and you know what? It always comes out in the end. So my suggestion to folks are, if you are a Trump supporter, if you are a Trump fan, stand by. Because I wouldn't.
You took some words. You took some words from what he said. Stand by.
Yeah, stand by. So I wouldn't be saying anything else. I wouldn't be putting anything else out there because you're going to make yourself look really stupid in a few more months. Yeah. Okay. This man Garland was appointed by Trump. Now, did he magically suddenly decide to do his job? No, Trump didn't do his due diligence. He thought that because he appointed him, he would be lenient, right? Or maybe not, pursue. Also, all these Republicans. Now, what blew my mind too is all these Republicans got out here and are saying, "Oh, the DOD is weaponized and this is wrong and save a date." They might want to stand by too, because when the DOJ gets done investigating, their number might be coming up too.
Yeah. But one thing they talking about, they weaponize that. And I told somebody the other day, isn't that the same thing Trump did when he was in office? He
Look,
weaponized the FBI and
remember transferring what they did to other people. See, and it all goes back down to entitlement. There's always been a dual purpose of law in this country. It's to protect the entitled class and it's to oppress everybody else. Now, the entitled class is getting a little taste of real justice.
exactly.
Okay. Now, they don't like it because the system has been slanted for so long. And like I said last time, all the crooked, broken cases that we've had to deal with in this country, and a legitimate loss and legitimate charges are now coming at these folks. And the most reasonable ones, I hear them, they say they don't know what to believe, right? You know what to believe, you just don't want to believe it, right? It's called cognitive dissonance. When I know the facts, but I want to know these facts, but these real facts are causing my facts that I want to believe to be delusional, then I just don't know what to believe because I don't want to admit that I was wrong. And I don't want to admit that I was that stupid, that I didn't see it. And that all these people that I have been conditioned not to like were actually right. Well, guess what? It's a bitter pill to swallow, but guess what? You're going to have to swallow it. Because when Trump has to sing that Akon song, locked up, won't let me out. Now, I'm going to tell you, espionage, look up the punishment.
You already know that's to me, that's treason.
And you know the punishment for treason.
Yep.
I'm not going to say it. You look it up.
Now, Kelly Conway, when Trump first got into office, she was saying, well, there are alternative facts. No, those are lies.
That's what we just talked about that a second ago, right?
Yeah, alternative facts. What's the alternative facts? And somebody called her on it. She never said it again after that.
Well, I mean, no, that's the reality. They basically, but here's the thing, right? They've always tried to push this alternative narrative of what's going on.
Yeah.
How in the world is taking classified documents to your house making America great again? Help me understand that. What it did is it compromised the United States, and he has been compromising the United States, and now the chickens are coming home to roost. And you know what? Like Malcolm said, he was a country boy, right? He's never been sad about chickens coming home to roost. I'm not a country boy, I'm a city boy, but I like chicken. so coming home to roost is good for me too. And at the same time, it's time for us to get this ship steered back right. We got too many big threats out there. China is out there. Russia is out there. Korea is out there. Look, we don't need to be fighting amongst the delusional and the ones grounded in reality here in the United States. Wherever these conspiracy theorists and all these folks that are following the Trump train, look, the Trump train is off the track, been off the track. Time to jump off and get on the train of reality, or at least stop moving further into a delusional state. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to have the United States military coming after you or the FBI coming after you because you think you're fighting some battle for somebody who doesn't care anything about you. Look at January 6th. What did he pardon anybody? Did he try to pardon anybody? He gave that one little comment about you're a special people or whatever he said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you special, all right. You special. Now, how special are you? Now you're facing, people are going to jail, they're losing their careers, their families are being destroyed because you followed a man who was mentally ill, delusional, and had a motive that if you really saw what it was, and when it all comes out, you're going to feel stupid. You're going to really feel stupid.
As they always say, follow the money.
Follow the money. But, you got to be careful saying that because that's kind of a Marxist statement, right? Follow the money. But what I will say is the truth always comes to light.
Yeah. It
always comes to light. Now, whether you want to see it or not, that's one thing. but I was very hopeful with a lot of the younger generation that's seeing the foolishness of their parents. You know, kids have a very simplistic way of looking things, right or wrong, you know, and it's been so wrong for so long that it's real easy for most people to see, even a child, you know, to see that changes need to be made. And this man was fueled with hatred, fueled with narcissism, fueled with a delusional thought process, and fueled with hustling a mass amount of people that were frustrated, like the Germans were when Hitler took power, at finding a scapegoat of why things were so bad and so frustrated with government not working. Look, progress never was easy. Having a functional democracy has never been easy. But what we did have at some point was a moral code that was at least more solidified than it is now.
Yeah.
We always had problems with morality in this country when it comes to doing what's right for all the people. And we can have a whole segment on that. But there's been a transference of who the animals were, who the people that were barbarians, right? All you have to do is look at the history of lynchings and the lynch parties and festivals and what they used to do to people and body parts that they used to take off of people and pass them around like they were trinkets. But then say that the person hanging from the tree was the animal, right? It's always been that double standard. Look, don't look at me being the monster. That's the monster hanging from the tree. No, it's the monster that put the man up on the tree and actually sold tickets as if that was a carnival act. Right. The truth is coming out. I know why you're scared, because you know that some punishment should have come your way a long time ago. But the problem is, and the thing is, the person that's doing the punishing is your own child. It's your own community, right?
Yeah.
And you're being played, right? You're being played by these folks, the Trumpsters, the Trump himself, and he doesn't care. He knows it. He knows what's going on. Watch that show, man. Watch that Elvis movie if you get a chance to see it. About how people, it's an art form of playing people. Trump would not have been as successful as he was in entertainment if he didn't know how to play people. And he just brought his show to politics.
He sure did.
And unfortunately, you're watching a fake reality TV show, but it has real consequences now. You know, and I'm hoping that reality sets in, you know,
reality is set in, because his spokespeople who spoke highly of him, talking about his family and a few others around. I mean, I'm gonna say it. They've been so quiet. You can hear a rat piss on cotton during a thunderstorm. They're not saying nothing. They're not saying nothing. They're scared. And some of these senators and congressmen are running scared too, because the truth is going to come out by January 6th on how they had a part of that. All of it's going to come out now. And so now they all running scared instead of getting on the bandwagon and say, look here, he did this, let's leave it alone. What's going to happen is when November 8th come around, I'm just going to say this, I'm going to predict Republicans want to vote for their guy, but if the guy is crooked, this is what they end up doing. And saving face for them, they're not going to vote. They're not going to go to the ballot and vote, because you know what? If I vote for him, I tell that, then I'm aiding and abetting, basically. So I'm not going to vote at all, because I think I'm thinking right now, November 8th is going to be very interesting.
Well, you know, like I said, a lot of people are going to need to stand by.
Yeah,
because when it really sets in, who they were voting for, and what the real intent for all those documents were, people are going to be looking real stupid. Well, I didn't know. Yeah, you should have known. You knew.
Yeah.
You just didn't want to believe, right? You kept snowing yourself, listening to Fox and listening to all this rhetoric. And what's amazing to me is how quickly they try to transfer what's going on to the other side. Oh, the weaponized FBI, the weaponized this. As long as it's working in your favor, it's not weaponized.
Right.
But now that they're pointing it back at you, because of real matters of national security is weaponized. So you know what? If you got nuclear information at home, you are a threat to this country, and you're gonna have to be dealt with. Period. Any classified information. We used to have these briefings in the military, right, where you're not supposed to talk about anything to do with our movements or or any type of, not even top secret information, just our movements, our communications. We spend millions of dollars on security, encrypting things, and all that type of stuff. And you got one reality TV show host that somehow fumbled his way into the White House, taking top secret documents and putting military personnel at risk, putting civilians at risk. And you're willing to do all that because you think he's going to somehow push your entitlement. God help you. You know what I'm saying? And again, remember the oath that every soldier took, every military personnel took. I would offend against enemies, foreign and domestic. And if he is an enemy of this country, I don't care what you think, if you liked him, if you enjoyed his, if you thought he was entertaining, you know, whatever, if he was going to drain the swamp, look, he was the biggest rat in the swamp. The biggest one. And now it's time for things to happen.
Yes.
to the vermin.
Yeah.
That were, and I'm going to be put it like that, and I don't know, but I'm willing to let justice run its course, but I expect for justice to run its full, complete course in the case of every single person that has something to do with those classified documents ending up in a civilian's hands at his home.
But somebody had to bring all those documents out. So they're going to be after them too. Whoever brought those out to bring down there, that they might as well forget it. And one thing I could say that opened the door up for the FBI is they're targeting the FBI. So now the FBI going to look at them tapes again for January 6th. Hey, we missed this person, missed that person. He's going to be a threat because he was there. So those of you who think you sitting at home and everything's okay, they coming for you.
Well, I don't know. Just check anybody that's had a unfortunately I haven't, thank God. And even I do, H&R Block got me covered. But IRS, they don't come get you today. They wait till their interest daily compounds. Woo! Yeah, that interest that hits you every day.
Yeah.
Comes around. And then they go, oh yeah, guess what? 5 years ago, you didn't file your taxes correctly. Now you owe all this money that's been compounding daily. Oh, and if you don't pay it, we'll just lock everything you own up.
Yeah.
So justice, the wheels roll slow sometimes, but and to me it rolled a little bit slow in the case of getting down to Mar-a-Lago. But hey, I don't know the reason why they took so long, but you know what? They sure hit him at the right time because he wasn't there. They got in and got what they needed, and now they got something to work with. And now everybody is saying that the FBI is weaponized. Stop crying. Stop whining. They did what they were supposed to do. They did what my tax dollars were supposed to do. You go find crooks. I don't care if the crook was an ex-president or ex-president of a restaurant. Look, if you're a crook, you got to be investigated. And it was signed off by a judge. So it ain't like they were like, you know what? And then Biden, okay, listen, I would just say this. Biden, right? 83 years old, fighting COVID. They're trying to blame it on Biden.
I know.
Biden didn't have nothing to do with, nor did he, no, I really believe he didn't know what was going on. I had COVID before. I wouldn't know, hey, he got so many things going on. Do you really think investigating this dude is a big focus of Biden? Again, that's a delusional thought process. It's not an administration issue. It's a legal issue. It's not a politic issue. It's a crime issue. And crime is supposed to be investigated by who? The Department of what?
Justice.
End of discussion.
Yeah. So what I'll go back before we end the show is this. This is what's funny. Is they gave him all the opportunities to turn them boxes over, no files over. They knew they were there. They were there June 8th, negotiating with him. please turn these in. So he want to know, well, why they come down? Because you didn't turn the stuff in.
Listen, the National Archives have been taking information from presidents every time the president steps out of office. They know what they usually get. They said they didn't get all the documents. Now, my question is this. Well, actually, he kind of put himself in somewhat of a what they call a conundrum.
Yeah.
You can't destroy documents that you didn't turn in. So he had to hold on to them.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't have took them, right?
Exactly.
So that's why he was pushing so hard to remain president, because he knew he had made some mistakes, and you can't flush all them documents down the toilet. 11
or eat them up.
Look, 11 sets of classified documents. Boy, that's a big toilet. And you see how close his house is to the ocean. You'd have thought there'd have been somebody sneaking stuff and shredded documents out to the ocean. You might want to check out there in that ocean. There might be some documents shredded and out there somewhere. That's, you know, but that's why, you know, it's funny. That's why people are reacting so much to this, because they know he's busted. That's why they're waving the flags and trying to hold on, trying to manipulate, because he had been able to do that for so much. But you know what? Every dictator, every crime boss, everybody doing illegal, eventually they slip up.
Yeah.
They always slip up. Now, I can't believe, and the only thing that shielded him from slipping up is the office of the president. That's why he's trying to claim executive privilege and all that type of stuff, because that's what kept him from getting busted thus far.
Well, he can't do it now because he's not president anymore.
He can't do it now. But in his mind, and that's why a lot of people think about it, that's why they still want to call him a president, because they don't want him to lose his ability to keep snowing people. Some people want to continue to believe that he's correct, he's legitimate. And just because he says it, you know, and some of this thing, like he talks about his great business and all this stuff. What great business? What great business?
Well, his school, he got sued for $25 million he had to pay up.
But I mean, where's the great business? I mean, we already know he's busted and can't be trusted. We already know that. So what?
His great business was this. He had people do the work, then don't pay him, tie him up in court because they don't have the money to be tied up in court. So that's what he did.
But again, is that a business or a hustle?
That's a hustle.
So again, even when he says he has something, he's hustling you. You know what? One of his colleagues, I know we got to get ready to go here.
Yeah.
In New York, when he ran against, it was some billionaire, whatever, multimillionaire, whatever, that gave a little inside out about what they thought about Trump up in New York.
Right.
He was kind of the kid that didn't fit in amongst the rich people, right? And he ran against Trump because he said, we need somebody that's not a phony and a fake. And he said, everybody that like is legitimate business owners and legitimately have made money in this country and are wealthy or are well off, they looked at Trump as a con artist. They were like, you know, this was almost his exact words. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. He said, you know, if Trump's daddy hadn't given him that money, you would have seen Trump like the other people that are like Trump, right? Go to any subway in New York and you'll see the guys selling the fake watches and the fake, you know, clothes and all that. And that's what have been Trump. You know, he's nothing but a con man that his dad gave him a lot of money. Now, his con now was the White House. And unfortunately, the office of the presidency gave him some legitimacy just from the title. And unfortunately, people, because they wanted to believe it, believed it. But look, those of us that know a con man, that knows a hustler, we knew what Trump was from day one. And some people like me that know mental illness knew that he was delusional, a pathological liar. Trump doesn't even know when he's lying anymore, because if he says it, he believes it, and he'll keep saying it until he believes it. And then other people will believe it. You ever heard the expression of the blind leading the blind?
Exactly.
I mean, come on now. Y'all, you've seen it play out right in front of your eyes. Blind leading the blind. But I would say it's a little bit more diabolical than that. There was a motive. He didn't have his eyes on the country. He had his eyes on the money, his survivability. And I always thought that his exit plan was to try to hurry up and get to Russia. Don't let him leave the country.
Exactly.
Don't let him leave the country. Watch planes, trains, automobiles, and boats to make sure that the orange hair Gru don't get away. All right, whatever color his hair is now. I want him to get this justice.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Whatever the justice is.
Yeah, but my thing is this right here: if he is indicted on that, some things should be taken away. Number one, the pension. Number two, the medical. Number three, the Secret Service should not be keeping what you call a traitor. I'm gonna call it what it is, protected. He's on his own.
Well, I think that happens automatically. A lot of that, because how can you have somebody that's guilty of espionage receiving anything from the government that they tried to undermine?
Yeah,
there's got to be something there. Now, the crazy thing though is you got so many people that are delusional about who he really is. Just like some of these pulpit pimps in the Black community, African American community, our community, that are delusional. They still giving their money because the pimp in the pulpit is hiding behind God, hiding behind faith. So he's hiding behind these ideals that he's going to help them get their country back and all this other type of stuff, or make America great again, whatever he means by that. So yes, America is great, but it was great not just because of folks like Trump. It was great because of people like me and you, entrepreneurs, people that are willing to work hard, overcome obstacles, and do things, and that further push the vision and hopefully make that vision more of a reality. Hustlers have always been a part of this country. They just never really made it to, well, I don't want to say they never made it to the White House, because we had some people that were in the White House who weren't of the highest ethical caliber in both parties. But I don't think we've ever had such a con man in the White House before.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that those documents, not only were they there, but I think we need to start some other questions. Why were they there? What was he going to do with that classified information? Because guess what? That's worth some money.
Yes.
Right. And I don't know,
exactly.
Anybody with a top secret clearance, they do a background check on them. And if you don't have a good financial background, you can't have certain top level secrets. Now, you got a man who has questionable financial history with some of the highest level top secret documents. Come on now. Can you see what's going on? He was going to do something with those documents.
Exactly. Jared, his brother, his son-in-law, they didn't want to give him secret clearance. They found something in his background, but Trump forced it on you. Give it to him.
Well, he weaponized the office of the president to do his bidding. All right, and now he's got to pay the piper. What's amazing to me is the decorum and the control that Barack Obama and Michelle have had about calling out what Trump really is. They have the legal background to know exactly what should have happened with Trump, but they've been quiet. But I would love to hear a conversation between Trump and Michelle about, what's going on right now. I would love to hear that conversation. And it's like, well, it took a while, but they finally figured out what Trump really is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're saying. I don't know. But it's time for the rest of America to acknowledge that you made a mistake. Acknowledge that you didn't vote for who you really thought you did. And there were some really diabolical things that were going on that you had no idea about because you chose not to see it. And you gave your money to a con man. Now, at least stop supporting the con and the other wannabe con men that are going to try to, follow in whatever footsteps that Trump was leading, right? Yeah. And let's get back to the Cheneys. right? The legitimate Republican Party. Let's get back to the folks that are really trying to find reality in justice and move. And we can have opposing sides, but let's not, use like criminals as like, or hustlers as primarily hustlers as the ones that are trying to lead us anyway, because you can't go anywhere good from that. It can't go anywhere good from that. And that's why we've got the fear, greed, and phobias pushing the delusional mindset so that legitimate legislation doesn't even have a chance as long as we're in this la-la land of foolishness. You know what I'm saying? So, somebody told me about running for office. You don't want me running for office. You don't want people that are grounded in reality running for office, because you're not going to like what we got to say. We need them.
Yeah,
we need them, but I wouldn't put my family at jeopardy like that. I wouldn't put, because these people are crazy out here. A lot of them. There's too many of them. So we got to get back to the center. We got to get back to moving in the right direction. I think we're starting to get there with what's going on, but we've got too many people that are still holding on to these illusional, illusional and delusional things that are being put out here. Why does this man even still get a public platform to talk, period? I mean, his mouth is almost an enemy of the state at this point. I'm serious. I mean, every time he talks, he continues to keep people in that delusional state. So, and there was Twitter. Did they let him back on there yet? I don't know.
No, they haven't. They haven't let him back on.
And they let him back on?
No, and they're not going to let him back on.
Good.
My TV on back there. My head was blue. The TV was on reflecting.
Yeah, I saw it, man. I thought you were trying to go for a new look or something. I thought that was a new thing.
No. Well, at that point, Joseph, I know you got to get ready to get on out of town. But you know what? I appreciate it on a Friday. I said it on a Friday. We're recording everything on a Friday. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we got to do things like that to get the point across. So, because I do not want your listeners turn around and say, where is he?
Well, I appreciate every listener. If you think what I'm saying is valid, go ahead and talk about it amongst your other friends, maybe invite some other friends. And then what I like to do is actually do something about it. Get out to the ballot box, communicate with some other folks, have some debates and some discourse, communication. I welcome questions and about different things. And I want to get more into some of the mental health things for this school year coming up. So our next show, I think we need to focus a little bit more on how we can help these kids to be more successful, some things that they should be focused on or avoiding this upcoming school year, and whatever mental health tips that we can kind of get into or put out there. I like to have some of those questions. I think it's good to talk about these things because political science, political theory is in my background, but mental health is, my profession by trade. And, I think we have a lot of things to talk about in regards to mental health. We haven't got into some of the crimes. There's one crime I want everybody to look up that's in the San Antonio area. The man that was killed at the fitness, what was it called? The LA Fitness.
Right.
And, look up the person and just look at the picture of the person that actually committed that crime. And let's talk about, the amount of mentally ill people that are in the community, and then couple that possibly with, the gun access that's out here right now. And I think we have to look at it.
And
I think we have to look at that.
And there's another one we need to look at is this guys at court right now. He just killed a woman and dismembered her. That's another one. So he's got some issues too. And we're right here in San Antonio. All we're talking about right now is right here in San Antonio.
San Antonio. Yeah, this is right here in this area. Now, it's not just happening in San Antonio, but I think we need to start talking about the things happening in our own backyard. And we can always talk about things nationally and internationally, but I think we need to start focusing on those things and people bringing some things that they would like us to talk about. We've got two business owners here, mental health professional, myself, business owner, with you, with a great public forum and format. Hey, let's talk about it.
And if you want to talk about it, just call 210-461-8034. You could text us questions, or you go to WSN Radio Facebook page and post questions on there. And as Joseph was saying, now September is coming around pretty quick, and we're gonna have a lot of discussion because the round table's coming back.
I got my shirt ready, man.
Yeah. Okay. Joseph, I appreciate you taking the time out, and you and your family have a safe trip, and looking forward to seeing you come back to town.
And thank you for having me, and thanks everybody for listening.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.